Let's tell her right now while we're standing there waiting.
Good morning and welcome to Storybook Land. My name is Amanda and I'll be your captain and storyteller. If you're riding aboard the Daisy boat, and before we get started, please make sure you keep all hands, arms, and fingers completely inside the boat, out of the water, and remain seated at all times. Now, in order to get into Storybook Land, we must first be swallowed by Monstro, the enormous whale, who swallowed Pinocchio and his father Geppetto. And don't worry, Pinocchio was a very smart little boy. He lit a fire right here inside Monstro's belly that made him sneeze so hard he blew his tail completely off. So we can start a very unique entrance into Storybook Land. Coming up on the left-hand side is the cave of the big bad wolf, who's still huffing and puffing because every day he has to look across at the three little pigs. And we have Fifer Pig in the house of straw, Fiddler Pig in the house of sticks, and of course Practical Pig in the house of 100% wolf-proof bricks. Past the archway on the left is the English village of Alice in Wonderland. Beneath the shady trees in the center of the village, Alice spent many a golden afternoon sitting and daydreaming of curious things. So she followed the white rabbit, who was very, very late for a very important date, right down into the rabbit hole, where she tumbled down, down, down into Wonderland. To the right along the center of the canal is London Park, where Peter Pan and Tinkerbell will little pixie dust and a few happy thoughts, over with Wendy, John, and Michael Darling, towards the second start of the race, straight on till morning into Neverland, where they never ever can grow up. Straight ahead is the city of Agrabah, with mystery and enchantment. The beautiful golden palace where Princess Jasmine lives with her father, the Sultan, and her tiger Raja. And one day she went down into the marketplace in disguise, where she met a handsome street rat named Aladdin, and they fell in love. When Aladdin was tricked into the Cave of Wonders by the evil Jafar, he stole the magical lamp and was granted 3 wishes from the king. Aladdin used one of those wishes to become a prince who could marry Jasmine, and he took her on a romantic magical carpet ride under these beautiful arches to a whole new world. Cave of Wonders, filled with enchanted treasures of gold and jewels, including the most precious treasure of all, the magic lamp. Around the bend to the right is the cottage of the 7 dwarfs, where Snow White is the evil queen. And up on the hillside is the jewel mine where they hide. Ho! Work every day. Along the left is the French village and Blue Roof Chateau, where Cinderella grew up with her evil stepsisters and her wicked stepmother. With the help of her fairy godmother, Cinderella went to the ball where she met and fell in love with her Prince Charming, and they now live happily ever after in his beautiful pink and gold castle. If you look about halfway down the mountain, there's her pumpkin carriage as it was when the clock struck midnight. And we keep trying to catch her horses, but it's been really hard ever since they turned back into those little mice.
Okay, try to see it right there in the middle on the bridge.
Disney Silly Symphony Lullaby Land and is made of more than 20 kinds of desert plants and flowers. In between the patches are giant white buttons holding each piece together. Now, in case you're wondering, all of our plants here in Storybook Land are real. They're kept so very small by a little bit of pixie dust from Tinkerbell that only lets them grow about an inch every year. So just like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys in Neverland, our plants will never grow up.
There are
Up ahead under the tree on the left is the home of Mr. Mole from The Wind in the Willows, and just next door is Toad Hall, where his best friend Mr. Toad lives. But they're probably not home right now. They usually have plenty of wild rides, and nowhere in particular. Also along the left are 3 Dutch windmills who were featured in Disney's Academy Award-winning Silly Symphony film. The center and largest was a shelter for animals during the terrible winter storm. Now straight ahead beneath the majestic Matterhorn is the Alpine village of Pinocchio and Geppetto. Right by the water's edge is the wood carving shop where Geppetto carved his little puppet, which is on a star. Just beyond the bridge to the right is the ship of Prince Eric anchored in front of his castle. It was on those sandy white beaches that the Little Mermaid saved Eric from the storm and later took her first steps as a human girl. But before she met her Prince, Ariel lived to save Little Mermaid under the sea. And if you look the waterfall, there's the underwater kingdom of Atlantica where Ariel grew up. That's where her father, King Triton, and her 2 best friends, Sebastian and Flounder, lived to this very day. Now looks like it's time for our journey to come to an end, so as we near the dock, please keep your hands, elbows, and especially fingers completely inside the boat, and remain seated until I count to 3. When I count to 3, I'll have everyone stand in the center of the boat for balance so that no one knows swimming. And on lovely, green water. Now, once again, my name's Amanda. Thank you for joining me on our journey through Storybook Land.